You guys, you wouldn't believe this situation that Google's gotten themselves into. They're facing a fine. It's so big, it's literally impossible to pay. Like, we're talking owing more money than exists on the entire planet. And it's all thanks to a Russian court. So get ready for a deep dive into a story that's about way more than just money.
What I find so fascinating about this whole thing is that this case really reveals this underlying power struggle. You know, you've got these tech giants like Google clashing head-on with governments, and then this huge question of who gets to control information, especially during a global conflict like we're seeing now.
Exactly. It details how Google has been racking up these insane fines over the past 4 years. Apparently, it all started because Russia claims that Google was blocking content on YouTube, content that violated their sanctions and trade rules.
Right, so the whole saga kind of goes back to 2020, when these two Russian media companies, Tsargrad and RIAFAN, they decided to sue Google for restricting their YouTube channels. And believe it or not, they actually won that first lawsuit.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they won. But what kind of fine are we even talking about back then? Like, was it even enough to make Google even bat an eye?
Well, at that point, it was a relatively small fine, only about $1,000 US.
Seriously, $1,000? I mean, I'm pretty sure Google spends more than that on office supplies.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. But here's where things took a really dramatic turn. After Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, YouTube started restricting more and more Russian news sites. And, well, as you can imagine, that really didn't sit well with the Russian government.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I'm guessing the fines started piling up.
That's putting it mildly. So fast forward to today. And the total accumulated fines are sitting at a mind-boggling 2 decillion rubles.
Okay, now I think you're messing with me. Decillion. What even is that?
It's a number so big, it's almost impossible to grasp. We're talking 2.5 decillion US dollars.
Okay, I gotta admit, for our listeners who, like me, don't exactly use the word decillion every day, could you maybe write out that number for us?
Sure. So that's 2,500,000,000,000, a billion. It's more money than exists, literally in the entire world.
That's just insane. But wait, it gets even crazier. The article said that Russian law dictates that this fine doubles every single week.
That's right. So every week, this already astronomical sum is multiplied by 2.
Oh, man. Talk about adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
So what's Google's response to all of this? Like, have they even addressed this massive financial elephant in the room?
They have, but in a very nonchalant way. They basically just acknowledge the fines in their quarterly report. But they state that they don't believe these legal matters will have any significant impact on them.
Wow. That's a pretty bold statement considering the magnitude of these fines. It makes you wonder if they've got some secret legal strategy up their sleeve, or if they're just trying to project this image of being totally unfazed.
Yeah, it definitely comes across as a power move. And it really raises this question. Is this just posturing from Google? Or do they genuinely believe they can just navigate this whole legal storm without taking a major hit?
And, what if they actually did have to pay? Could Google actually go bankrupt from this?
That's definitely a question worth considering. But honestly, I think the bigger issue here isn't about Google's financial stability. It's about setting a precedent, like sending a message to all the other tech giants out there that they can and will be held accountable by government.